Hi, today is June 14th, 3 p.m., and it is the meeting for Public Works and Finance Committee meeting. And we've got a agenda of 5 things today, so we should be able to get through those in time. And we have all the counselors here in person, in addition to the mayor and Gina and Sandra. And lots of other people, which they're all welcome to being here, and it's fun to see everybody back here ready to talk with us. So the first thing is the approval of the May 24th, 2021 Public Works Finance Committee minutes. Are there any corrections, comments?
Looks good.
Approval?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Looks
approval.
good.
Consent. Oh, who's taking notes?
We got it.
Okay, Taylor's not here, but anyways. Okay, so the next issue is the disbursement report for May 20, 2021, and Sarah Banks is...
So if perhaps we could move on to item 3, the lot line adjustment, as presented by Amy. Sarah should be here shortly, and if not, I'll be able to help her with that.
Okay, perfect.
Presentation. So
Okay, so
we could
Amy.
just adjust.
All right.
So we just skipped number 2 when we're moving on here to number 3.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So today we have a lot line adjustment for 816. Thank you. For 816 and 902 Public Avenue. I never know whether I'm going to need my glasses for this or for this. So these are the 2 lots mentioned. 816 and 902 Public, right off of Public Avenue, just where it meets Lincoln. They're both zoned R3. Currently, 1806 is just over 37,000 square feet, and 902 Public is just over 51,000 square feet. This is the survey that was recently done showing the current lot line. As you can see here, this dotted line is the current lot line that matches the plat map that I just showed, and this is the proposed new lot line. So what that would do is that would change 902 Public, this parcel here, to 71,000, just over 71,000 square feet, and 902 Public to just over 17,000 square feet. This is what the new lots would look like. Like I said, it's zoned R3. In R3, lot frontages. Lots are required to have 60 feet of frontage. If they're a regular standard lot, flag lots are required to have 20 feet, and the minimum lot size is 6,000 square feet. Both of these lots meet those minimums. So for those reasons, staff recommends approval of this lot line adjustment with no conditions. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Art.
Could you roll back to the...
Absolutely.
There you go. 2 things. One, relative to flagpole lots, is that going to be an issue with the fire department relative to getting back in there?
It isn't. So the other requirement for flagpole lots is that the flag portion of the lot is no greater than 150 feet. This lot has existed as it is with that flag portion, so it's really not changing the access at all.
So is that due to grandfathering or being less than 150 feet?
It was already less than 150 feet
Okay.
from this point here to the
And the other
to the street.
question is, relative to your red line, it looks like it shoots through the building to the west. Is that just the
This here?
nature of... Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that just from how it's drawn?
I think it's probably just the skewed nature of the aerial image and how the lines are drawn.
Because all it really is a road, right? Just about.
This is just an access drive up to this residence here.
Any other questions?
Looks good to me.
Looks good to me. Motion?
Yeah, let's put it on consent agenda with approval.
I agree. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shouldn't have to.
Okay, so are we on Are you doing the next one? Oh,
Well, and we do have Renee from Finance. We can go back to number 2 and do the disbursement report for May 2021.
okay, Renee, you're on.
Does it matter where I sit?
No, wherever you want to.
So I think you have the major, or the disbursement report with you with totals of $3,068,682 for the month. And the major expenditures, there were $684,834 for well 10 Phase 2 payments, and also $205,174 for the Indian Hills water line improvements. Do you have
Any
any
questions?
questions?
Nope, those accounted for all of the difference from the usual. So,
Made it a little higher, so we're ready for that. So any objection, can we put it on the consent agenda?
right.
Unanimous?
Well, and we can approve and authorize the use of the digital signatures, and we're good to go there.
Okay.
That's all we need to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you for coming in.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, the next one is the 6th and Logan Asphalt Improvement Project.
So I'm Nate Sir, and Cameron Lee, who's a senior engineering tech with our office, will also be joining me for detailed questions.
Great, thank you.
So this should be a fairly quick presentation. I think anyone who's driven down 6th Street in the last year knows where Logan is and exactly where that alligator patch of asphalt is. So this is a project that we came up with, actually Streets brought to us, and Cameron helped design. And the goal is to address some deteriorating asphalt conditions. So this is similar to what we did several years ago on going up the 6th Street hill, where we put in under drains to address the groundwater that connect to our storm sewer, and then basically just relocate some catch basins to ensure that we're, the water's draining properly, we're getting it out of there, and it's not sitting under the road and continuing to cause damage. Once we put this together, we had an engineer's estimate of $63,239, and Motley was the low and only bidder with $57,490 bid.
At that point, that was so exciting. when we hit that one, I gotta tell you,
We
right
got a
there,
bid on-
right on the spot, this was great.
Yes, so we finally got a bid to come in under, so that's
Yeah.
that's an accomplishment for the year. And this is kind of the detail of what's going to be happening. So the purple border is where the asphalt will be removed and replaced, the extent of that. Blue are the subsurface drainage pipes that will connect into the green catch basins there. And we'll also do a little bit of curb and gutter work, but very minimal, just replacing a few sections that we need to remove. We already ran over the bid results, so our staff recommendation is to accept the low bid from Motley with a 10% change order or provide further direction. And are there any questions on this project?
Do we have a go date on it?
Not until we get approved. Cameron, what are they tentatively suggesting based on your conversations?
They really are not sure right now.
Like the week school starts?
Realistically, we'll try to keep them, so we anticipated this to be about a 21-day job, and so we try to keep them to the month before school starts kind of thing would be the last we'd like to see them. But we gave them a lot of flexibility on this contract to secure the lower bid amounts to basically try to fit it in. So essentially, we'll have to continue negotiating with Jeff and with
But this construction season in any
this
case.
construction season, yes.
So,
It has, the final date is the 27th of September, if I remember
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right.
it may run into school a little bit, but the goal is to have it not.
So I have a general question that not related to this one in particular, but,
put the microphone back so you,
okay, so my question is, when do people who are bidding on it get to know what the estimate was?
As soon as the bids close.
Great,
So
okay.
typically, we either close the bids on a Friday and have notification on a Monday, or close on a Tuesday and have a notification on Wednesday, depending on the type of project. So it's usually a pretty quick turnaround.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
so peripherally, just for curiosity, how's the other side of the hill doing with the installation of the drains and?
I've been monitoring that since we installed the project. It appears to be doing very well. There's a little bit of continued alligatoring up the hill, basically where we stopped. So it seems like the issue is not completely addressed, but in the area where we put in the under drains, it seems to have stopped the deterioration. So we're pretty excited about getting this intersection replaced.
So are people's rims on their tires.
Just stand, catch. Yeah.
You didn't even need an engineer here today for this one. This is a pretty easy one for us all. Thank you. To recommend the acceptance of the low bid with Motley & Motley for base bid. Award the contract in the amount of $57,940 and authorize the staff approval for construction charge. Change orders in the amount of not to exceed 10% of the contract amount. Agree?
Yep.
Consent
And-
agenda?
Yes.
Sounds great. Thank you. Again, thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Todd, you're on. So the
Want me to
last
just
issue.
start up your
Last but not least.
presentation? There you go, man.
The Ridgeview Estates Second Edition Development Agreement Amendment.
Yep.
Great.
Okay, I'm Todd Drage, and this is a presentation on the Development Agreement Amendment for Ridgeview Estate, second edition to the city. This property was platted a few years ago, so I'll go ahead and provide a little bit of a background and then discuss the reasons for the amendment and the actual amendment itself.
And we're going to be rude and put our backs to you while you watch the video slides, so let me just tell you.
Nice. Well, feel free to stop me anytime if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
So the location is southeast of the city, just east of the old Ridgeview Estates, the original Ridgeview Estates, sort of south of where Notting Hill Drive dead end ends right now, and north of State Highway 8. The final plat was approved by the city in September of 2014. The development agreement was approved later on that year, but the property, as I mentioned, hasn't been developed since that time. The original plat has 42 buildable lots, with lots ranging from 7,000 square feet to 14,000 square feet. There's about a third of an acre of parkland dedication, which is tract A in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Stormwater control is accomplished through detention pond in tract B, and this is in the southeast Moscow Sewer District. Construction plans have been submitted to the city, and they meet city standards. They include a left turn lane onto Roxbury Drive from State Highway 8. However, due to design concerns with ITD that haven't been approved for permitting quite yet, and so they're still working through some of those issues, and I believe it was kind of stalled with the previous owner. Their new owner purchased the property, Bloom Enterprises 3 LLC, earlier this year. And in order to recoup some of the costs on the purchase, as well as some of the turning lane redesign stuff, they've asked if they can do this phase to have some of the lots sold early and then go through that process. Phase 1 would include the upper 16 lots, which is there's a figure included in your development agreement. It's also required to build a stormwater detention basin, connection of all the utilities, frontage improvements within phase 1, and then construction entrance and hard surfaces to access roads, to access utilities in the undeveloped phase 2 portion. This is a draft figure that's been included, and as you can see, there's utilities that are required to service that upper lot. So they won't actually be paved, but they'll be required to provide access so the city can maintain those utilities. Another thing to point out is there is currently a field access off of State Highway 8 that is permitted for construction. So they'll be able to access that and deliver materials and haul materials off through that. The only thing that's not permitted is the new road that goes on to State Highway 8. Phase 2 would then just be the remaining set 27 lots, which would include the parkland, the remaining utilities, and then the frontage improvements within phase 2, and the improvements within State Highway 8 as soon as they get ITD permitting. For the development agreement, there was no phasing before, so a new section was added that just discusses the phasing. That Exhibit B was added, which details what we just discussed. And other than that, other than changing of the name of the developer from Thompson Developer LLC to Bloom LLC, Bloom Enterprises 3 LLC. No other changes were made to the development agreement. And so staff recommends not council, but you folks approve.
Half of
the-
council.
Yeah, half of council. I'm not trying to jump the gun. Approve the revised development agreement. And with that, I'll stand for any questions you have.
Questions?
Always.
Yeah.
We got to take advantage of you while you're here.
Sure.
So, I didn't read Exhibit B about the utilities, so they're going to construct the stormwater connections for the upper Phase 1 part down to the
Correct.
detention pond is part of Phase 1, right?
Correct, yeah, so the utilities to service all of those upper lots. There's the detention pond, and then the storm sewer, or the sanitary sewer, actually ties in the right-of-way to storm, or sanitary sewer that's in State Highway 8.
Right.
So those will all be constructed and completed as a part of this phase, because they're required to service those houses. And I think per code, detention basins required for any building permit.
So I have a question, and that is on the bottom right, bottom left here. That's where the parkland is?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question for me is does Parks and Rec have a say in where that goes, and is the city consulted in that process? Because it's like the very end of the process. So I was just curious on whether or not Parks and Rec ever has a say in that.
I believe so. I believe that's a part of the plating process.
Included in
Yeah.
the preliminary plat.
Okay,
Yeah, so I was part of the whole plating process, and we okayed the parkland, part of which is down there in Tract A is a park, but also there's a greenway paralleling Highway 8 down there that's also included as part of the parkland dedication. So that was way back in 2014.
mine was a generic question again. This is a learning process as well. Just kind of that sense of when they're putting the plot out there, do they consult with Parks and Rec, or who do they consult with respect to parkland?
Yeah, it's in that preliminary plating process.
Okay.
Which is at the,
If I may, so David Schott works with our parks and parkland dedication process, and he is involved. He's been working with the different folks over at Community Planning and Design on each of these subdivisions to say, where does the parkland come in? What does it look like? How are we meeting those requirements? But yeah, we do
Perfect.
bring them in the loop in the beginning so we can see how that'll phase out and time out.
We just wanted to see what it was like when Art was back there in 2014 and what was thinking back then.
Still doing the same thing, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Recommend approval of the amended development agreement.
It makes sense to do it this way, and I think we're all adequately buffered through the provision of utilities and everything else, so, yeah.
I want to say that the contract looked really strong and good on this one in terms of precautions, and so I think the city, from my perspective, it seemed like a good idea. Approve it. Ann?
Yep, I agree. And then consent or regular.
Consent. Do we, yeah, there's no really need to.
Yeah, if there's any questions, they can certainly come up.
Well, thank you all very much. Staff reports, are there any additional reports that we need to have?
The only update I would share is that we've got some staff and council members are heading to the Association of Idaho Cities conference this week. We also have Art Walk, or modified Art Walk, as we're easing back into things this Thursday. So other than that, should be steady as she goes. So.
Well, this is my second AIC meeting, and I have to say, it's nice that so many people from Moscow actually come and wear a little swag and walk around like we're proud of our city, because we are. Yes. So, thank you all. Adjourn?
Adjourned.
Thank you.